Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the life and suffering of Sir Brante. So, in the last episode, we had many cases that we had to turn around and deal with, and a lot of conflicting emotions having to turn around and deal with our family, but also having to deal with the trials of Anazet and just dealing with everything as far as having our newfound powers as a judge goes. But now we're going to go ahead and pick up right where we left off. So, we did make a promise to Elborn in order to turn around and try and work towards social justice in the province and just basically try and help the common people and everything else in between. I don't know how effective I'm going to be at that, but we will see as things go, as every decision in this game goes. So, we have the situation of an old friend. Night is falling over Anazet. The stifling heat gives way to an eagerly anticipated freshness. After a day at work, you stroll home at a leisurely pace. You turn down a side street that you've known since you were a little boy. It is as if your legs are acting on their own accord, bringing you to the place of your childhood play, the remnants of the wooden fort. So much has changed since the days when you used to play here when you were little. Engrossed in your memories, at first, you fail to notice that you are not alone here. A tall figure in the uniform of a Legion officer approaches you. You see unruly brown hair and a twinkle in his eye. It is Thomas. It's been a while since we've seen him. Now that's a surprise. Hi, Bronte. Fancy running into you the moment I'm back in town. Your childhood friend puts his arms around you. Our battalion got transferred here recently. We're under the command of the Magra Legion now, keeping the peace and maintaining order in my very own province. Well, why don't we catch up? Let me buy you dinner. We'll have a little chat, remember the old days. Thomas cuts himself short. You suddenly notice how much older he looks. His face has become sharper and rougher. His eyes are filled with the exhaustion rather than their usual mischievous sparkle. I should warn you though, Darren, I ain't the best company nowadays. I've managed to get myself some powerful enemies already. I'm a friend who could taint your good name, so if you'd rather not be seen with me, well, I understand. The smile on his face starts to fade. Oof. You could just walk away from him, Jesus. Well, my reputation is going to go down, my willpower will go up by 10, and my opinion with Thomas will go up. So, there's that. You give Thomas your hand. You shake hands firmly. So you haven't forgotten your old friend, Bronte. That's the way it ought to be. Well, come on then. You go to a tavern, reminiscing about your childhood antics on these very streets along the way. You choose a table in the far corner of the tavern. Thomas orders a bottle of good wine and some food. You talk about your latest case, about your first years back in Anazet. You share family news, your quest to become nobles of the sword, the quarrels between your elder brother and sister, your mother's health. Thomas nods with concern. Sounds like you've had some tough times. Your family has always been different. Mine, on the other hand, is the same as it ever was. My pa is always in his workshop, and my mom's always doing chores. But look at me. I came home a service-class nobleman, although it doesn't bring me much joy anymore. Thomas is suddenly grim. You ask your old friend to share his troubles with you. He quickly glances around the room and lowers his voice. Well, I'm a captain in the Magra Legion now. And who's our commander? His Excellency Dorius Otten. That's right, I serve under the very same Archnean whose toes I stepped on back in Eterna. And you better believe he remembers me. I'm afraid things are gonna end real bad. But hey, I'll figure it out somehow. Don't trouble yourself over it. Apart from that, well, it's the usual service. We impose order in uppity towns and villages, protect the provinces, that sort of thing. And we run drills all day long, obviously. If only you knew how sick I am of the barracks, Darren. I've thought about starting a family. My mom keeps telling me to find a nice girl to marry. She says it's high time I got hitched. It is completely dark and you're still talking. Finally, Thomas remembers that his parents are waiting for him. You get up from the table, leaving some dirty dishes and quite a few empty bottles behind. On your way out, you catch a glimpse of a nondescript figure following you through the door. As you walk alongside Thomas through your neighborhood, You keep glancing over your shoulder, but the shadow that was following you has disappeared. You reach your street and stop for a while in the semi-darkness between your family homes, just as you used to all those years ago. Bye, Brante. I hardly ever come to Anazet these days. Our battalion is always on the march all over the province. But twins willing, we'll see each other again real soon. You advise your friend to safeguard his every life. Alright, so my opinion with him has gone up. It's sympathy now. And I've lost 1 as far as my reputation, so we're at 4. But we gotta get it to an 8. Jesus Christ. But my willpower is maxed out now, so I don't have to worry about it. But I haven't encountered too many situations where my willpower was actually needed, but meh. The newspaper case. Your first year at the prefecture has come to an end. You're not a young student anymore. You know now that a judge's trade means so much more than knowing the law and carrying it out. Resolving a litigation of any importance requires striking a balance between the code of law, high society's opinion, and the whims of the provincial powers that be. Your second year is beginning, and it feels much tougher already. Trampled by the nobles, the commoners seek help, and so they turn to the law. They turn to you. The carriage takes you through the silver district of Anazet. It is early morning. You've just received a letter bearing the seal of the city hall. Remy Elverman, the magistrate of Magra himself, wishes to see you. The mere sight of the magistrate's invitation is enough to make you scowl. This is no doubt about your newest case regarding the Quorum Gazette, which may spell trouble for everyone involved. A provincial legislature, the lesser quorum governs the volume and distribution of taxes in Magra. After a new law created by the emperor's own brother Cornelius Tempest several years ago, commoners of considerable wealth were granted representation in the quorum on par with the nobility, thus forming the lesser quorum. Now the representatives of the lowly estate have founded a newspaper of their own. This Quorum Gazette, distributed all across Anazet, fervently argues for commoners' rights in provincial governance. Ooh, excuse me. The man behind the newspaper is Mayor Egmont, a well-off industrialist and owner of several silver mines. And it is with his article and his demands that brought about this litigation. You take out a newspaper and read Egmont's article printed within. It addresses Imperial Overseer Gaius Tempest directly. We demand that Sir Overseer Gaius Tempest cease his habitual disregard for our meetings. From our Emperor Uther II, we received the lawful right to assemble and sit in the lesser quorum. And we say to the Overseer, our voice must be heard. Our message must be accepted. The carriage stops in a square by a luxurious building. This is the City Hall, where Imperial officials manage all domestic and economic matters of Anazet. You are escorted up a long, winding staircase to the door of the magistrate office. You now stand before Remy Elverman. The magistrate maintains a haughty bearing in spite of his venerable age. His face bears the sharp, proud features so common among the old aristocracy. Ah yes, Sir Judge. You are from the Brante family, I believe. I appreciate your prompt arrival. I'd rather not waste your time and get right down to business. The matter for which I called you here is urgent indeed. You are judging a case against the newspaper by the lesser quorum, are you not? I've had a torrent of complaints against it from the most venerable members of the quorum. They say Mayor Egmont has insulted Gaius Tempest, our overseer and Archnean from the Emperor's own great dynasty, and I say they're absolutely right. The Empire gave those uppity commoners a hand in managing the province's very well-being, which is already a violation of their lowly lot. But no, that wasn't enough for them, it seems. You've earned the mantle only recently, Sir Brante, but you must realize that this is an affront to the honor of the entire nobility. I expect you to do your duty as a judge and immediately find a pretext for shutting down their pathetic gazette. Elborn, your prefect, might think otherwise. However, Sir Brante, if you exercise enough wisdom and cunning, I'm certain you will realize which position is most beneficial to you. With your youth and potential, it'll do you good to have powerful friends on your side. I'm sure you will reach the only appropriate and just verdict when closing this case, and I hope you will be duly judicious. For now, farewell. Sir, you could have just wrote this in a letter. You return to the prefecture lost in thought. Sir Elverman is right. Your word is all it will take to shut the Lesser Quorum newspaper down. As a judge and a nobleman, you do not even need a reason. The people running the Gazette are mere commoners, no matter how wealthy they might be. There was no breach of law, however. Mayor Egmont's article simply requested that the overseer of Magra hear what the Lesser Quorum has to say. You can reject the nobility's complaint and thus show the commoners they may rely on the prefecture's justice, but Sir Elverman and many fellow judges will be outraged. Father learns that the case has been assigned to you. He visits you and offers some advice. You're in quite a predicament now, son. If you try to appease one party, the other will be furious. Would you rather see if there's any way to make peace between them? We could host a party at our estate and invite both Mayor Egmont and the noble elders from the quorum. If you are successful at diffusing their quarrel, no one will object if you decide to legitimize the Quorum Gazette. Even Elverman won't be against it if the nobles stop complaining. However, Father is not your only visitor of note today. Shortly after the door closes behind him, the familiar face of Judge Carlo Falkgraven appears in your office. He looks around cautiously before speaking his mind. I hear you've been ordered to deal with that newspaper run by wealthy commoners. It's a complicated case indeed. If you ask me, work like that deserves to be rewarded. Why not make the most of it? You're quite close with Prefect Alborn, are you not? Almost related, as it were. What if you were to shut down the paper and seize their printing press? All it would take is Sir Prefect's signature. And my friends among the Quorum nobles, why, they could use a gazette of their own. I would be delighted to help you put that printing press in good hands. Just think of it. You would shut down a subversive periodical and help our esteemed nobles spread their message, all while earning a lucrative reward for your efforts. It's quite a coup, really. Everyone wins. Do think on it, Brante. He leaves and you are left alone in your office to deliberate. If you decide to shut down the Gazette, how far should you go? And if you choose to legitimize the periodical, how will you go about it? I kind of wonder if you would have taken the other route of being the lotless. Could you have ended up in a situation where you could have used the printing press as like a way to have subversive thought and stuff like that? Okay, I can either shut down the Gazette. Career will go up by 1, but justice will go down by 1. And Remy Elverman will go up +2. Don't have any relations with him right now. If I don't shut it down, my career will go down by 1, but justice will go up by 1 also. If I legitimize it, however, and I can do this because my willpower is high enough and my diplomacy is high enough, I can get the destiny of protector of the people. I can get +1 career and +1 justice. I'll get -1 for my family and -5 for willpower, and I'm definitely going to do that because I'm not using my willpower at all, honestly. But I do need to get my wealth up at some point. You spend several days scheduling audiences, exchanging greetings, and presenting invitations to the senior nobles of Anazet. You have to pull all the strings you have and muster all your knowledge of Anazet high society, to say nothing of the family funds you spend throwing a suitable party for such esteemed guests. After much effort, both the nobles and the commoners from the Lesser Quorum have gathered together at your family estate at last. Mayor Egmont, owner of the Quorum Gazette, has accepted your invitation as well. The nobles are clearly vexed at having to tolerate the commoners' presence, yet they maintain the decorum etiquette demands. You tactfully take advantage of the situation to begin a negotiation. You inform the esteemed gathering that you are the judge handling the case of the Quorum Gazette. In your opinion, a periodical for their legislation is a most useful initiative, but only if the entirety of the Lesser Quorum shows support for the Quorum Gazette, and only if the Gazette represents the opinions of all its members, including commoners and nobles alike. Your words are met with a flurry of resentful shouting, disputing voices. People start to argue. Sometime later, the Gazette owner, Mayor Egmont, takes his turn to speak. He looks almost like a nobleman. Egmont is well groomed and wears expensive clothing only a wealthy industrialist could afford. Nevertheless, his rough manner of speaking and boorish posture betray his humble origins. I do say there's some truth in what you're saying, Sir Brante. We did begin the Gazette without asking the noble sirs for their opinion. Still, if they let us have our articles printed, I suppose I'll agree to publish their opinions as well. This leads to another fervent debate. Some nobles reject sharing a periodical with the lowborn, while the more obstinate commoners of the quorum insist they already have the right to publish the Gazette on their own. It takes you no small amount of time and negotiation to bring both sides to an agreement. It's settled then. As the owner of Quorum Gazette, I pronounce it the official and legitimate newsletter of the Lesser Quorum, and the noble sirs are invited to publish their articles on the state of affairs in our province. Industrialists and merchants surround you and shower you with praise as a skillful negotiator. Tonight, you defended more than a newspaper. You stood up for the entire common estate of the province. Father keeps his distance from most of the party, but once matters are settled, he pats you on the shoulder. Excellent work, son. You chose the path of justice while staying on the good side with the powerful nobility. Even the magistrate O'Vermin won't hold this against you. Your career at the prefecture will surely flourish. Let's just hope your notoriety as a protector of the common folk won't harm you in the future. The night is over. One by one, the esteemed guests leave the Brante estate, the family home you know so well. You never thought the affairs of the entire province would be one day decided within these familiar walls. Okay, so that helps us out quite a bit. We're now in the fight for justice, and if we can get a couple more points, we'll be commoners are protected. And my career is okay for right now. I don't have to worry about falling into a dangerous position just yet. So hopefully we can get some more things like that where I can use my diplomacy, get those stats up, got to bump those numbers up a little bit. So yeah, but my wealth went down. Need to work on this also. And my willpower went down by 5, but it's still 25. Protector of the people. Event has happened. Conditions: protect the common folk. The people of Anazet know and praise you as a defender of the common people's rights. Didn't say that not too long ago. The call of the ancestors. Today is a big day for the Brante family. The day your family line started, the day when you remember all your ancestors. Tonight, everyone who bears the name Brante must descend into the family crypt to keep vigil by the tombs. This is the time to surrender yourself to your ancestors and hear their will. Oh, this is gonna be great. The entire family prepares for the event in silence. Stephen has been choosing his apparel since this morning, praying anxiously under his breath all the while. The heir has a special place in the family vigil. Even Mother is planning to go with you, though Father tries to talk her out of it. Lydia, I beg of you, stay home. You are far too weak for an all-night vigil in the crypt. Gloria, would you be so kind as to stay with your mother since you cannot, join us anyway? Gloria answers in a muffled voice. As you wish, Sir Robert. The late Sir Gregor would only be enraged to see Mother there. We all remember how their last encounter ended. Father nods curtly, avoiding Gloria's gaze. But at that moment, your attention is drawn to a noise in the foyer. Nathan staggers through the door, stumbling over his own feet. He reeks of cheap wine and filth. I'm not, late, am I? Everyone gazes at him in consternation. Nathan almost falls into Mother's and Gloria's arms. Distressed, they fuss over him. Stephen eyes his youngest brother coldly. I expected nothing more of you, Nathan. Why even speak of duty to your family when you can't even manage to live by the commoner's lot? Go lie down in the pantry and stay out of our sight. Father, Darren, it's time. Let's go. Alongside Father and Stephen, you descend into the family crypt. You cannot help but remember paying your last respects to your grandfather 9 years ago. You light the lamps. Dim, eerie flames illuminate the shrine. In the middle of it stands a magnificent stone tomb containing the long-decayed remains of Gregor Brante. You take your place around the crypt and kneel. The all-night vigil has begun. At first, your ancestors remain silent. Each of you is left with their own thoughts. Then a low murmur passes around you. The shadows in the corners of the room deepen. The voices grow stronger. You know that the ancestors of Sir Brante, long forgotten commoners whom you never knew, are trying to talk to you. But now a memory of them has come to life in the darkness of the crypt. They are pleading for something, demanding it of you, calling out to you, screaming. Finally, you all hear the painfully familiar, deep, imperious voice echo from the far end of the chamber. It's been a long time since I've seen you all. I hope you bear good tidings. All this time I've been waiting for you to fulfill my mission. Remember, as long as I am your blood, I will give you no peace. I did not have my family ennobled just to see our line cut short. Our blood tide must join the grand flow of the empire, and then each of my descendants will inherit nobility forever and ever. But I do not see any of you before my tomb. Where are you hiding? Where is the head of our family, the man who will speak to me? Where is the man who will heed my will? Father arises from his knees and makes his way towards grandfather's stone tomb, the source of that booming voice. But Stephen suddenly pushes him out of the way. Father takes an indignant step forward, but Stephen firmly bars the way. Stop it, Stephen. You are my heir, but you are not the head of this family. Father, it is not you that Sir Gregor is addressing. Earning the nobility of the sword is my duty to him. He has long forsaken any hope of seeing you achieve it. You must understand that I am the one who will fulfill that duty. Oh my God. Punch him in the throat. All you have to do is just hit him one time in the throat. Stephen does not let anyone pass, or does not let him pass. Father breathes heavily in anger. You can all but feel the frantic beating of both their hearts resonating somewhere within you. Both your father and brother seem to have forgotten that you are here too. Even the restless voices of your ancestors have grown hushed, waiting for the outcome of this confrontation. Now I could step forward. My willpower will go down by 5, but my valor will go up by 3. And I do have the path of the noblemen and blood tide, so there's that. Why does it matter if Sir Brante goes up? I didn't know that I still had to worry about him. Well, shit. I could support Stephen's superiority, which will take my unity down. I'm guessing both of them. Oh, okay. No, I won't. Interesting. So, if I turn around and support my father, I'll get +1 unity. My willpower will go down by 5. Stephen will go down by 1, but Robert will go up by 1. If I support Stephen, the unity will go down, but my willpower will go up +5. Diplomacy will go up +1. So that's no benefit to me, other than I get relations with Stephen. But if I step forward to myself, I'll get -2 with both of them. My valor will go up by 3, maxing it out completely. And I get +2 with Gregor, which will put me at 1 with him. Interesting. I kind of feel like I should side with my father. I mean, I do want to be the head of the family myself. And if I do the +3, my valor will be completely maxed out and I don't have to worry about it anymore. And considering, I'm going to have to deal with Doran Atius, whatever his name is, that might be helpful in the future. Decisions. I'm gonna do it for Valor, so that way I don't have to worry about Valor anymore. It's maxed out, even though that is gonna put me at odds with my father to a certain degree. Because if it goes down by 2 and it's a 3, what does that put it at? So he has affection for me. It's maxed out. Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. I'm going to step forward myself. While Stephen blocks your father's way, you step forward yourself. Now they are both trying to stop you, but you are already loudly addressing the spirit of Sir Gregor. Sir Darren of the Brontes is the man who will speak to him. Well, well, look who we have here. It's Darren himself, a recent nobleman of the mantle and a judge. I must admit, grandson, it has always been my belief that you would not be satisfied by the commoner's lot, even when I punished you for your escapades. But are you up to your old tricks again? Do you truly imagine yourself to be the head of this family? What about my spineless son and his rightful heir, Stephen? Or are you planning to take his place? You look over your shoulder. Father has covered his face with his hands, flustered. Stephen is clenching his fist angrily and whispering something under his breath. Since you've been so bold as to speak to me, you will hear my will, Darren. Dead though I may be, my will still lives, and you all are the embodiment of it and in the realm of the living. Earning the nobility of the sword is the great cause of anyone who bears the name Brante. Your duty by blood is to earn us a place in eternity, just as it is my duty to look out for you even from beyond the grave. Your father's follies have become a veritable threat, and I must help you overcome it. You still cater to those fondlings, Lydia and Gloria, risking permanent blemishes upon the Bronte name, my name. You are but a step away from leading our family to shame and ruin. Your grandfather's authoritative speech is suddenly interrupted by your father. No, father, this is impossible. Even if I must defy your will, I am responsible for Gloria. My honor and my conscience will not allow me to do what you demand. You must accept this, or keep on fighting me for all eternity. It is not to you that I am speaking, Robert. Darren, take the family cause into your hands. Do not take after your father. Do not shy away from taking responsibility for your actions. Do what must be done. Cleanse our family of wickedness. You do not have time to respond. Stephen's strong arm hurls you to one side, but when your elder brother addresses grandfather instead of you, he's shaking. Sir Gregor, Darren must be out of his mind. I am the heir here. I am ready to heed your will. You've heard it, Stephen, and do not let anyone usurp your rightful place again. Otherwise, you will lose your very birthright. Stephen answers his ancestors in a strained voice. I will do my duty to my family, Sir Gregor. Whatever the price, I will pay it. The crypt is completely silent once more. The spirit of Gregor Brante has left. You're alone again. You see tears glistening on Stephen's face. Without a sound, he detaches himself from you and leaves the crypt. Your father casts a disdainful glance at you and follows him up the stairs. You are left in the semi-darkness alone with the invisible spirits of the dead that follow your family everywhere, even from oblivion. Whatever the will of your deceased grandfather may be, you've proven before your ancestor that you have the right to hear it on behalf of the Brante family. The vigil is over. Alright, so now we're just back to sympathy. And we're just back to sympathy with Robert, which is not bad. And Gregor is indifferent towards me, but still. And my valor is that I am invincible. If I lose a duel, I am going to be so pissed. Alright, the year's 1140 now. Year 1140, Egmont's speech. Just a few days into the year, Mayor Egmont, chairman of the Lesser Quorum and owner of several silver mines, made a speech that caused quite a stir in the province. Though a commoner, Egmont had the gall to demand that the Mogren authorities both enforce and obey imperial law. What's the use of the imperial laws if they aren't enforced as they should be? Even today, any Anazet nobleman who gets up on the wrong side of the bed can draw his sword and run a commoner through with impunity. Those gentlemen may be our rulers, but does that mean they can defy the Emperor's will? Sir Elborn has been appointed to enforce rule of law in Mogren. How come the prefect doesn't see this? We commoners aren't trying to seize the noble lot. and take over the province, but the rule of tradition is a thing of the past. This is the age of justice. We may not all be equals in its eyes, but even the nobles and clergy must obey the law. The modern aristocracy is furious with Egmont and demands that he be silenced, but the rich industrialist has too much money and too many connections to be dealt with so easily. You hear more and more rumors about secret societies of commoners appearing in the city, plotting against noble rule. The gentry fears that Egmont and his peers might be behind this, but they have no proof, at least for now. Father Leonard, abbot of the Temple of the Silver Tree and leader of the New Believers, support Egmont and has spoken publicly in his favor. The twins themselves entrusted the noble estate with the right to rule over the common folk, but rulers must also care for their subjects. The old faith is mistaken. No commoner should ever be forced to suffer. It is for this reason that the imperial law exists. It is there to ease the people's suffering. May those laws be duly enforced, and may they serve all the people of the empire. Alright, so power's going up a little bit more, and if I keep that up, we just need a little bit more in order to get it to the commoners in power. Order went down a little bit. There's discontent. And the wealth of Margaret went down a little bit as well. So, the vassal and the lord. It is another day at the prefecture. A secretary peeks into your office with a message from the prefect. There's a new case he wishes you to handle. You put away your quill and walk to Sir Elborn's office. To your surprise, he happens to have another visitor already. There's a graceful figure sitting across from your immediate superior, none other than Octavia Milanatis. After all the times you've met her in the capital, you expected the Archduke's daughter to be brilliantly, lavishly dressed, but her appearance today is modest and formal, with a high-necked dress and a strict bun. However, her demure attire only serves to emphasize her role as a distinguished visitor to the prefecture. You bow to the prefect and the noble Archnean lady. Octavia offers you a curt greeting, then returns to the conversation you have interrupted. This matter can brook no delay, Baron Elborn. The young judge may well wait outside. Nonetheless, Sir Elborn insists that you come in and take a seat. Worry not, Brante. You aren't interrupting at all. Lady Milanatis, I was scheduled to meet with Sir Brante at this very hour. I regret to inform you that your visit was perhaps somewhat unfortunately timed. Octavia rises from the soft, high-backed chair. The young Archnean lady now stands tall, elegant, and indignant. You are out of line, Sir Elborn. Archduke Milanatis has graced you with a representative from his dynasty. You will listen to what I have to say this instant. The Archduke has expressed concern over your manner of governance at the prefecture. You've always been headstrong and eager to infringe upon the freedoms of your own noble estate, but now it appears you find it acceptable to conduct proceedings against our own loyal subjects. Our dynasty has already seen many loyal nobles of the sword arrested or faced with punishment in court. Where will this lead? Do you mean to enforce your lowly laws against those Arthians? Do not forget that those laws were written to keep lowborn humans in check. Our lives have always been governed by the noble honor and tradition, as well as the blood tie that is our heritage. Our only justice is the court of honor. The only rule above us is that our sovereign, the emperor, and the twins. Our only duty is to our kin and our forefathers. My ancestor, Shar Milanatis himself, granted the boon of nobility to you humans. It would be most unwise to make me regret this decision of old. In the name of Archduke Milanatis, I demand that you end any and all proceedings against our subjects at once. Jesus. Sir Elborn acknowledges Lady Octavia's vehement speech with a calm smile, and nothing else. He shows no trepidation, no tremor, nor fear, even though the lady across from him represents one of the Empire's mightiest dynasties. Lady Milanatis, the twins have graced the blessed Archnean lineage with a boon of long life, yet the world can be quick to change at times. The laws of the Empire now govern the nobles of the mantle and even the nobles of the sword, along with the common estate. This particular change is not as recent as it might seem. The laws of the empire are the decrees of the emperor himself, the twins' chosen supreme sovereign. His laws are his will, which is, as you said yourself, the only rule above us, and that means all of us, from a highborn Archnean to the lowliest commoner. Presently, the emperor's representative in our province is Overseer Gaius Tempus. Like this prefecture in its entirety, I am simply obeying the overseer's will and the laws of the empire. Then pray tell me, Baron Elborn, who is your own sovereign and protector? He is none other than my father, Archduke Milanatus. You swore him an oath of fealty and vassalage. It is your duty to follow his word and will, or do you wish for the Archduke himself to address you directly? I tell you, cease this harassment of our loyal noble subjects at once. I will not leave until this order is carried out. Oof. Why, Lady Milanatus, I'm afraid this is quite impossible. As a servant of the Empire and Imperial Overseer Gaius Tempus, it is my duty to enforce the law. Now, if you will excuse me, Sir Brante and I have urgent matters to discuss. The gaze of the Archduke's daughter is locked with the prefect's in a silent struggle. Each expects the other to back down first, but then Octavia suddenly turns towards you. Oh God. But I believe the young judge has more in him than blind obedience. Surely you are able to distinguish a rightful claimant from a threat to the province, are you not? Don't put me in this. God damn it, you put me in this. Can I defuse the situation? Please. Thank you. Silence resounds within the prefect's office. They are both waiting for you to speak. I can support Elborn, which will get me the Eyrie of Octavia Milanatus. It will give me +1 with Gaius Tempus. It will give me +1 with Augustin Elborn, but it would also give me -1 with Archduke Milanatus, who's already pissed at me. Or I can side with Octavia. I'll get -1 justice, but Octavia will go up +1. Augustin Elborn will go down by 1. Archduke Milanatus will go up +1. But because I'm a genius, I can defuse the situation, which means I'll get -5 willpower, and I'll get +1 with Augustin Elborn. And Octavia is intrigued with me, so that's what was required. One of these must be true. Diplomacy greater than 13, now 20, or I can have victory in the tournament. So I'll defuse the situation. You have Lady Octavia's attention now. She may not have shown it in Sir Elborn's presence, but she remembers you from the capital quite well. Skillfully, you take advantage of this connection to reduce the tension. You start by reaffirming her position. Truly, the Archduke has every right to look after his noble subjects. You would never expect an ancient dynasty to abandon the loyal nobles to their fate. Having said that, you shower the Archduke and his noble dynasty with praise, including his brilliant progeny, who has deigned to grace the prefect's office with a visit. You casually mention your encounter with Lady Octavia at the fencing tournament in Eterna. I have to admit, Brante, for a human, you fought valiantly indeed. I've witnessed some of the best Archnean sword masters at work, and yet your fighting piqued my curiosity. There's a look of relief on Sir Elborn's face as he watches you converse. Still, you return to Octavia's demands. After all, she did not come here for small talk. The Archduke's words carry great weight, but sadly, Sir Elborn has no power to decide the matter. After all, he is but a humble servant of the Emperor. Perhaps it would be more prudent to take this matter to the Emperor's overseer, Gaius Tempus, who is also an Archnean of noble lineage. Just like a moment ago, Octavia winces at the mention of Gaius Tempus. The Emperor's brother took away her noble family's right to represent imperial authority in the province of Magra. Still, the Archnean lady considers your words well before speaking again. To a certain extent, you're right, Darren Brante. I cannot help but admit it. We Archneans ought to avoid involving humans in matters of supreme authority. It is still my wish and intention that Sir Elborn present us with an answer, but if he absolutely must learn the will of Gaius Tempus beforehand, then so be it. But do not tarry too long with your answer, or you risk angering my father. Octavia rises elegantly from her seat. Before she leaves the prefect's office, her eyes rest on you for a moment. She bats her eyes charmingly and addresses you with a gentle smile. then she's gone. Elborn pats you on the shoulder, content with the outcome of the interview. Unbelievable. I never expected you to be acquainted with Octavia Milanatis. My thanks, Brante. You bought me some time. If you hadn't intervened just now, I'd have to defy the law and end all cases against nobles who serve the Archduke. We'll see what the overseer says about this now. Archduke Milanatis is testing the prefecture with his daughter. Otherwise, he'd have asked me to visit his palace personally. He's showing caution, which means we still stand strong, at least for now. We will continue our service to the law without regard for the outmoded ways of the past. But I digress. This is high politics, and the prefecture still has plenty of cases to resolve. Let's get back to our work, shall we? With that, Elborn hands you a new case file. You thank the Baron and head back to your office to study it properly. It's time to get back to work. Alright, so he does have affection for me. That's good. My willpower has gone down by 5, so it's at 15. But I didn't piss off anybody, so that's good. Passion. The repercussions of your most recent encounter with Archduke's daughter, Octavia, soon manifest themselves. A letter bearing the seal of the great dynasty of Milanatis arrives the next day. Inside the envelope, you find an invitation to Castle Serpenverda, the Archduke's residence. Oh boy. Is it time? Is it time to actually shoot my shot now? Visiting the Archduke of Magra himself is a great honor. To decline such an invitation would be an insult of colossal magnitude. You immediately purchase a new doublet in the latest fashion and ask father to lend you a precious family brooch. It depicts the Brante family crest, and the leaves on the oak branch are made of tiny emeralds. Octavia should find it to her liking. Your family cannot help but notice your preparations. Mother watches nervously as you make sure everything is ready for your journey. This odd invitation has me worried, my son. Be careful in the Archduke's castle. You're still of low-born origin. Archnean attention spells danger to people like us every time. Remember not to displease them, or the Milanatis will grind our family into dust. Come early morning, the carriage takes you away from the border walls of Anazet. It takes you a full day to reach Serpenverda along the dusty, sun-scorched high road. While on the road, you read notes on Archnean tradition and rules of etiquette again and again. To preserve your family's honor, you must make the best possible impression. The provincial powers that be will be watching your every step, and so will Octavia with her cunning grin. Only as the sun is about to set do you manage to spot the dark, colossal shape of Castle Serpenverda, a towering fortification of jet black stone spread across a peak looming over the bed of a long-gone river. The carriage climbs the narrow serpentine road to the castle gate. Soldiers of the Archduke's guard approach you, and you present them with the invitation. The guards eye you with suspicion, but give the signal to open the gate. You are now inside the walls of the Archduke's castle. You had expected to see many carriages of other guests beyond the gate, but the courtyard is strangely empty. The guards show you to a servant who guides you to a room reserved for guests and leaves you there to wait. The servant soon returns, and you follow him through the dimly lit corridors of Serpenverda, lavishly adorned with silver emeralds and weapons of war. The castle is silent. There is no noise, no music. It seems completely uninhabited. The sound of your footsteps is smothered by the soft velvet beneath your feet. The servant stops in front of a pair of massive doors made of black wood. This is your destination. He gestures silently. You enter an enormous room, its walls covered in portraits and ancestral relics. In the very center of the room is a towering throne carved of black wood. Upon the throne, you see the delicate silhouette of Octavia Milanatis, clad in black velvet dress embroidered in silver. With a commanding gesture, the Archnean lady bids you approach. You're here at last. Are you surprised, Darren? How odd. You didn't think my father would actually summon you to an Archnean castle, did you? Or are you truly that naive? How sweet of you. No, it was I who summoned you here. Oh boy. I don't think I like this at all, actually. This is what I planned, but I don't think I like this. You are alone in the castle. Portraits cover the walls. Portraits of Arcanians with dark eyes and jet black hair. They all resemble birds of prey, and their eyes seem to watch you with contempt that makes you uneasy. Allow me to introduce you to my family. Family, this is a human by the name of Brante. What do you think of him, father? She casts a defiant glance at the portrait of Archduke Melanatus. Then she removes a glove from her hand and casts it as well. It hits the great Archduke's right in the nose. Octavia laughs at that, and the tall walls and innumerable portraits echo her voice. Baffled, you ask Lady Melanatus why she has summoned you. Because you've caught my attention. I noticed you, even when you were somewhat younger than you are now. And then I started seeing you again and again. I've caught myself thinking about you quite often, and so I've decided that I wish to possess you. Okay. You will become my companion. Other humans will envy you, but no one will dare to cross you. My name will open any door you like. In return, you will satisfy my every whim, and I will do with you as I please. Octavia rises from the throne, the hem of her dress lifting up to reveal her elegant, slender leg. You know the history of this throne, yes? My ancestor, Sir Melanatus, used to sit here during the rebellion of Magra. Can you imagine that? Sir Melanatus made decisions that transformed the entire empire, all from this very seat, and now it's gathering dust in this vainglorious art gallery of my father's. Now come to me, human. Octavia waits for you to do her bidding. One does not argue with an Arcanian. Since the dawn of the Empire, they have taken whatever they wanted. If you refuse Octavia, daughter to the Archduke of Magra, you will insult her. If you submit to this Arcanian woman, if you become her plaything, everyone will know you are in good graces of Lady Melanatus herself. As a human, what more could you possibly dream of? You recall your chance encounters with her from the days of your youth to more recent times. What are your feelings for this exceptional Arcanian lady, and what does she truly want from you? If you are willing to enter into a perilous romance with Octavia, perhaps you could do it on your own terms, returning her affections while keeping your honor. Will she defy all the traditions of old for you and recognize you as her equal, even if only in secret? Octavia arches her back on her father's throne and waits for you, her slender hand beckoning you closer. Oh, shit. Oh, boy. I mean, on the one hand, by all means, step on me. I'm all for it. But on the other hand, this is politics. Damn. Well, shit. Oof. One of these must be true. Octavia Melanatus greater than 2, and she's intrigued. I will lose some willpower. I'm losing a lot of willpower. This is making me scared. But, if I submit to her, my reputation will go up by 1. Octavia Melanatus will become my patron, and she will get +1. But if I insist on being treated as her equal, we will get grown closer. She will get +2, and I'll just lose some willpower. Now, if I reject her, I'm sure it's going to be pain and sadness. She will be scorned, but she'll get -1. I'm going to insist on being treated as her equal. Got an achievement. Soulmate. You gave Octavia your answer, looking her straight in the eye. You've been in love with her ever since you were young, enchanted by her beauty and grace. Every chance encounter a treasured memory, and you know that this feeling is mutual. To you, there is no greater honor than Lady Octavia's affection. But you cannot sacrifice your honor as a nobleman for the sake of this love. You do not mean this as an insult. On the contrary, Lady Melanatus is far superior to you, it is true, yet you too are of the noble estate, and you cannot accept humiliation. even if you must face the full extent of the Milanatis ire. You will reciprocate Octavia's affection, not as an obedient plaything, but as a man and a noble. Your impassioned speech ends, and you steel yourself to face her wrath. But, to your surprise, Octavia seems lost in thought, her eyes downcast. Nobody denies me. I'm not used to this. You are a remarkable human indeed, Sir Brante. I've noticed this ever since we first met. Your words echo in my heart. Do not follow the usual rules. Any other man would have been groveling at my feet by now. Perhaps you can be my escape from this stifling, sickening world. So be it. I choose a human as my lover, and I care little for what the aristocracy of this twins forsaken province has to say about it. I'll take this as far as I like. But you will be safer if our affairs remain a secret to the world. Now come to me, my sweet human. You draw closer to Octavia on the throne. She reaches out for your face, caressing it gently and carefully, as though touching a human for the first time. A moment passes, and suddenly her arms wrap around your neck and her legs lock around your torso, and she pulls you closer to her with all her might. You do not resist the Archnean's assault. Her embrace leads you to the throne. So, how do you like the seat of the great Shar Milanatis? Just a piece of wood, don't you agree? Uncomfortable too. But luckily, it's spacious enough for the two of us. Oh shit. This is porn, my god. Octavia's ravenous lips find yours as her hands free you from your fashionable attire, her entire body shivering with excitement. You caress her skin, tender and azure. You commit her to memory, studying her, trying to understand her. Octavia's eyes are dark as the starless sky, sparkling with delight from your sweet transgression. But why does she seek this pleasure with you? Why would she humiliate her ancestors and her very dynasty by having an affair with a human? Seeing you preoccupied, Octavia gently pulls your head up by the chin. She kisses you passionately, and her lips start moving down your half-naked body. Her inhuman passion swallows you and overtakes you until the vast throne room of Milanatis' dynasty echoes with the last of her ecstatic moans. Then there's silence, save for the sound of your heavy breathing. Octavia caresses your back slowly, then playfully pushes you off the throne. The Archneans watch you from the portraits, their faces as dispassionate as ever. Octavia returns you at dawn, now wearing a modest black dress, her hair in a formal bun. It is time for you to leave, Darren. The Archduke will return to the castle soon. I will visit Anazet now and again. Several estates there belong to me. We will meet there, safe from prying eyes. You leave Serpenverda with your head spinning and your heart racing. The day it takes to return to Anazet passes like a single moment. When your family asks you about your visit to the Archduke, you evade the question. From that day forth, your heart aches sweetly, yearning for Octavia's letters. When it's time for a brief tryst, the two of you disappear to one of her estates and give in to your secret passion. There are days when your love and your lover seem but an illusion, something gone forever. But soon another note arrives, and the affair continues, only to be cut short again for an unknown time. You've stolen the heart of the most beautiful and highborn Archnean lady of Magra. Only one nagging thought casts a shadow on your love. What will be the price for this insolence? Oh boy, yeah. There's gonna be consequences for this. Probably not good. But I also wonder if in the end, like, maybe we can kind of make Octavia a fighter for the common people or something. So she seems like she doesn't like her role. So maybe we can kind of, convince her strongly on the throne that she needs to kind of help out the commoners or something. So our status is we've grown closer. Okay. Yeah, full of power. Just went down quite a bit. You've started an affair with the daughter of the Archduke Milanatis. I mean, how bad could this turn out? Surely this couldn't turn out that bad. Brothers in misery. Your home has been much more peaceful for the last year. The fights between Stephen and Gloria are not as fierce now, but how long will this last? Your job takes up all your time. You see your parents and siblings less and less often. Sometimes you don't even know what they're doing while you deal with the constant streams of duties. This morning you head out on urgent business. You take one step out of the gate and run into a uniformed gendarme. Sir Brante, your presence is requested at the prefecture dungeon. What? Taken aback, you ask what this is about. We have your brothers Stephen and Nathan Brante in a cell. They were arrested last night at the Steiner's Inn. They asked us to send for you. The cells in the prefecture dungeon are cold and damp. The guards lead you to the bars, and behind them you see Nathan huddled in the corner. Your younger brother is unshaven, more disheveled than usual, and reeking of wine and filth. Near the cell you see Stephen grimly sitting in a chair. You guess that the gendarmes thought it best not to put him in the same cell as his lower-born brother. Upon seeing you, Nathan lets out a whimper, and Stephen cracks a bitter smile. The sheath on your brother's belt is empty. There you are at last, Aaron. Have a look at our younger brother. Yesterday he got drunk in the company of some dubious fellows. They are commoners, yet they dare to surrender to pleasure. They started a brawl, wrecked the inn, and harassed the waitresses. As soon as I heard, I rushed to save this drunkard from shame. Nathan cowers into the corner, horror-struck. I walked in and demanded that Nathan come with me, but his cronies wouldn't let him go. That's not true. You just grabbed me by the collar and dragged me after you. You nearly suffocated me. Shut your mouth, cur. So, brother, they seem to have some sort of sect. They all shouted defamations against the twin gods, and one of them grabbed me by the arm. I was forced to skewer this heretic with my sword. I hope a lesser death will teach him never to lay his filthy paws on a nobleman. He was just trying to talk to you, Stephen. Jesus. Must be nice to just have lives that you can just go ahead and just expend like that. Silence. Then the gendarmes barged in, and here we are. I've been accused of an unlawful murder. Apparently, the new laws allow killing a commoner only if he attacks first or wields a weapon. They say that in the event of an insult, I'm supposed to file a complaint with the prefecture. So now they're going to seize my sword for a whole year. What a shame, and it's all your fault, Nathan. Stephen gives the bars a furious kick. Nathan covers his face with his hand in despair. Darren, brother, you are our only hope. What do we unlock? We don't unlock any of these. Jesus. Get me my sword back and get us out of here, and fast. We have to bury this sordid affair as deep as we can before anyone finds out. Save our family from shame. Oh boy. If my career was higher, I could have used that, but then justice would have went down. 1. Stephen would have went up, Nathan would have went up, Augustine L. Bourne would have went down. Take them to the Inquisition. If I took the path of the priest, I could have did that. But that's not gonna happen at all. Inquisition power would have went down by 1. Scheming would have went up +1. Stephen Brante and Nathan Brante would have went up by 1 also. Or I could blackmail the judge if I had a spy network, but I had to have the path of the lotless. So I would have gotten -1 spy network, now 4. Why do I have a spy network of 4? Diplomacy would have been, I guess it would have changed one of the stats to spy network. Diplomacy, yep, so I would have been able to do that. I can ask father for help. My reputation, the family reputation will go down, unity will go down, manipulation will go up by 1, Nathan will go up by 1, Stephen will go up by 1, but Robert will go down by 1, or I can refuse to help. Reputation -2, willpower +5, Stephen Brante, both of them will go down by 1. Jesus, this is a shitty situation. Jesus. And family unity goes down too. Oh boy. Well, I don't need the reputation to go down that much. So, since I have to choose between a shit option and a shittier option, let's choose the shit option, shall we? Ask Father for help. You tell Stephen that the only way to get them out of this mess is with Father's help. No, Darren, Father must not know about this. If he gets involved, we won't be able to avoid dishonoring the family. You coldly reply that after this incident, disgrace is inevitable. All that remains is to try and minimize the damage. Leaving your brothers, you go upstairs to your father's office. What happened, Darren? You give Father an account of the incident. You become more and more grim with every word you utter. Is this why I earned the judge's mantle? To get my own sons out of prison? I would have expected something like this from Nathan, but Stephen? I will not demean myself so they can avoid their punishment. You argue that in this case, the damage to your family's reputation will be far greater. Stephen will be publicly deprived of his sword, and Nathan will be sentenced to hard labor on the streets. I hate to admit it, but you're right, son. I'll have to swallow my pride and plead their case to the prefect. Stephen is his nephew, after all. Father gets an audience with his superior, Elborn. He returns downhearted, but holding the prefect's orders. Together, you walk down to the dungeon and present the order to the gendarmes. Stephen Bronte's sword is to be returned at once. He has not broken the law and must be freed. As for Nathan Bronte, you will personally cover the damages the inn has sustained. This is no reason to keep a son of a noble family behind bars. Seeing the prefect's seal, the gendarme nods obediently and returns Stephen's sword. Father, I knew you'd come to the rescue. I haven't really done anything shameful. Yeah, okay. We will discuss this at home. Stephen sheathes his sword reverently as Nathan is let out of the cell. The elder brother takes the younger by the scruff of his neck and pulls him to the door. Nathan staggers and shuffles along limply. The prefecture is highly displeased with your indiscreet nepotism your father took advantage of. Unsavory rumors about the Bronte family creep through Anisette. Back home, Father lectures Stephen. Your elder brother objects and blames Nathan for everything. From now on, there will be no more drinking bouts or other nocturnal exploits, Nathan. Who are those rogues you've befriended anyway? Stop shaming this family. If you are so worthless, at least let others go about their business in peace. Do you understand, you blockhead? Ah, boy. Well, there's that. I am losing a lot of respect with my father right now. And we have tarnished honor now. Jesus. I really do hope there's going to be some big events that's going to come up where I can actually get some reputation and unity back, because Jesus. And my manipulation went up by 1. Yay. Alright, we will do this, and then I think I will stop it after that. Your most recent years of service at the prefecture has seen an increase in litigation on crimes against the church. More and more people are joining the ranks of the new faith in Anisette. The movement began with destitute beggars who had nothing to lose, but for years, now many well-off commoners and new nobles have been joining the fold. People say the leader of the new faith is Anisette is Father Leonard, the abbot of the temple at the Silver Tree. The city's leaders would love to expel him, but he's too highly regarded by the common folk. Complaints and cases of defiance of one lot keep pouring in. Every day somebody is reported by their neighbors for heresy. Many commoners, adherents of the old faith, fear that such flagrant defiance of the lots will usher in the prophesied wrath of the gods. However, you and the other judges have no choice but to reject most of these cases. As a secular institution, the prefecture has no authority when it comes to crimes against the faith. Only the church and the Inquisition have any say here. In the middle of another busy day at the prefecture office, the door suddenly swings open. A tall gendarme wearing an officer's uniform walks in, takes off his helmet, adjusts his short, fair hair, and bows to you hastily. Captain Leonard reporting, Your Honor. My boys finally caught Father Mark, the dreaded apostate heretic. The prefect told us to take him to you for judgment. You, bring him in. Two gendarmes bring in a short, stout man wearing a worn, dirty priest cassock. Priests wear the sacred symbol of the twins, a cross within a circle, but this man does not. Forced to sit before you, this odd-looking priest is nonetheless strangely undisturbed by his arrest. His eyes, curious and glimmering with life, study you intently. This is him, Father Mark in the flesh. We caught him trying to preach that teaching of his smack in the middle of a drinking hole for the lowborn in the Gray District. Some guy took offense and called for the gendarmes, and we got there right away. Father Mark, you've heard the name ever since you were a child. His cult of rejection of the twins has expanded tenfold over the past several years, the nobles, commoners, and even other priests joining his flock. The Inquisition has hunted his heretical apostate for years, but Father Mark has always eluded capture, until now. Some say he has powerful protectors. Here are the statements from the people of the establishment, Your Honor. You flip through the pages of handwritten statements. Father Mark isn't just preaching. He's openly defying not only the lots, but even the twins themselves. Father Mark teaches that the gods have neither design nor purpose for us, so we are under no obligation to serve them or prepare our souls for the hereafter. You put the papers away, ready to question the profane priest. Jesus. What was the subject of his sermons? What was he trying to convince his listeners to do? Father Mark prefaces his answers with a dazzling smile. As a judge, it is your duty to enforce secular law. You know as well as I do that I have broken such law. I am a priest, my friend, and in the Empire, priests are allowed to preach. I was preaching the proper way to live one's worldly life, for this is the only existence we have. I told my listeners not to waste their lives serving those gods. The twins surely love us, but alas, their love violates us as much as their law. This entire world is proof of that. I see my words upset you, but I'm afraid you can't judge me guilty for that. Here's why. You see, mine is the priestly lot. If the judgment of the church is to be trusted, which means that only the Inquisition tribunal may find me guilty. So you could hand me over to those black-clad thugs, but alas, you will get absolutely nothing in return. The Inquisition wants to light the pyres in every corner of Anazet, and all they need for that is me. As soon as they get me, the Inquisitors will tell the prefecture to step aside and start enforcing the law themselves. Is that what you want, my friend? So what are you to do with me? Well, let's think about it. As a secular judge, you can't judge me guilty, but giving me to the Inquisition will weaken the prefecture. And so, my friend, everybody will be better off if you just set me free. Trust an old philosopher. It's better for me, better for your prefect, and better for you as well. Surprisingly, the gendarmerie captain smiles knowingly at these words. He leans over and whispers a few words into your ear. You cannot help but notice the scars all over his neck. I say the old heretic's right, Your Honor. If he's still got the priestly lot, he's the Inquisition's problem. It's too dangerous for the prefecture to meddle in churchly affairs. And strictly between you and me, if the reports I've been getting are to be trusted, this here Mark's been rubbing elbows with Patriarch Cassius himself. Letting him go might get us on his good side, and Sir Patriarch's a very wealthy man. But suddenly the captain's voice trails off as the door to your office opens without warning. There's a young woman at the door, clothed in the black cassock and bearing the telltale silver seal of the Inquisition. I am Sister Jean, Your Honor. I serve the Order of the Inquisition. They came quick. That stern face, those piercing brown eyes, they seem somehow familiar. Of course, this is the young acolyte girl from the temple at the Silver Tree. The one you saw during the school visit. She's an Inquisitor now. Oh dang, yeah, she is. I completely forgot about her. Your men did well to track down and arrest Father Mark. Splendid. We've been hunting this false preacher for a long time. I'm sure you know, priests may not be judged by secular law, Your Honor. Mark has denigrated the twins and called for the people to reject them. He has broken his sacred vows and defied his lot. He will face the tribunal of the Inquisition for his transgressions. The man before you is a great threat to the people of Anazet, Judge Bronte. His words lead people astray. His speeches doom them to eternal suffering at the foot of the pillar. Only the church knows the way to end his heresy. You will hand Father Mark over to me at once. All right, now you're making demands. You don't need to be making demands now. All right, so I can't set him free. I can judge him or prosecute the case with the Inquisition. Interesting. Sister Jean remains in the doorway, wordlessly refusing to leave the prefecture without the captured heretic. The gendarmes and the captain stand still, awaiting your orders. Father Mark is lounging in the chair, enjoying himself and eyeing you cautiously, waiting for your decision on this contentious situation. So if I judge him, my career will go down by 1, but justice will go up by 1. My diplomacy goes up, which I don't need. And Jean will go down by 1. We don't really have anything with her anyway, and I don't even know if I want to have a situation with her. I can hand him over to the Inquisition. The church will go down by 1. Justice will go down by 1. But theology will go up by 2. I don't even know what good that would do me at this point, but all right. If I could have set him free, my scheming needed to be greater than a 10. The church would have went up by 1. My career would have went down by 1. My wealth would have went up by 2, if only. And scheming would have went up by 1 as well. But it needed to be greater than 10. Wonderful. But if I prosecute this case, the church would go down by 1. My career will go up by 1. Justice will go down by 1. Theology will go up by 1. Eloquence will go up by 1. And I got that because my theology is greater than 10. Interesting. I think my career has to be at a 2 to be in a bad situation. So, having said that, I think I will judge him. Yeah, I think I'll actually just go ahead and judge him, because that brings justice up. So let's judge him. You order the gendarmes to put Father Mark in jail. The priest just shakes his head, slowly and sadly. The gendarme captain smirks slyly at Sister Jean and tells his men to put the priest in shackles. As you wish, Your Honor. The mere sight of Father Mark being taken away by the law sends Sister Jean into an apoplectic fit of rage. How dare you defy the judgment of the Inquisition? You have no right to judge a priest, not even such an erring heretic as Mark. Only other priests may pronounce judgment upon a priest. You have clearly forgotten your own lot if you see it otherwise. Know this, Sir Brante, the Inquisition will not forget this outrage. We will do whatever it takes to get you dismissed. After Jean finally storms out, you head to Elborn's office. Thanks to the firm guidance of the prefect in your verdict as a judge, the rule of law in the province has been on the rise. Even nobles can be seen falling in line and acknowledging the prefecture's authority. Could this be the time to take another step forward and make the priests acknowledge secular law just as they accept the divine law? That was quite brazen of you, Bronte, defying the Inquisition like that. It cost you dearly, but I'm on your side in this matter. Father Mark will set an ideal precedent, a priest judged by the imperial law rather than a church tribunal. The man you caught is an apostate and a heretic, so the Inquisition will provide no legal defense. This all but ensures a guilty verdict. Permission granted, Bronte. Prepare the case. To ensure that the Inquisition has no time to intervene, you schedule the trial as soon as possible. But even with these precautions, the courtroom on the day of trial is a strange sight to see. Outraged priests and odd-looking commoners fill the stalls. Now and again you hear their cries. Some demand you hand over Father Mark to the Inquisition, while others shout in support of the apostate. Mark himself is quiet and utterly calm, his arms folded across his chest. The time for the verdict has come. Instead of heresy, you accuse Father Mark of inciting rebellion against the Emperor's rule. In his sermons, Mark told people to reject the twins, but the Tempest dynasty was chosen to rule by the twins themselves. Therefore, his call to reject the twins represent an act of rebellion against the Tempest dynasty and the empire as a whole. Oof, got him. You thus conclude that Father Mark is an insurgent and a traitor, a crime that falls within the authority of the prefecture. Your speech has the Board of Justice backed against the wall. Despite their better judgment, they are now obligated to side with you instead of the Inquisition. Through clenched teeth, they accept your arguments for persecuting Father March in a secular trial. The verdict has been rendered. Well then, your honors, I hope your ambition has been duly satisfied and your authority duly enforced. But alas, every single one of you is still a puppet of the alien will of the gods. It is time to hand me over to the Inquisition. After all, only the church knows the proper punishment for me. The Gendarmes unceremoniously stuff a gag in Father Mark's mouth to protect society from his heretical notions. Sister Jean is waiting right outside the courtroom, an inscrutable expression on her face. She takes custody of Father Mark, now a convict, and leads him to the dungeons of the Inquisition for his long overdue punishment. Shortly after, you learn that your father was one of the judges on the Board of Justice. That was some trial, and it was led by my own son of all people. A priest convicted by the prefecture. Our province has never seen anything like this before. Many judges are bound to hold a grudge against you for making us clash with the Inquisition. As for me, I'm proud you saw the case through to the very end. We will succeed no matter what fate has in store for us. I hope so, because it's not looking good right now. Alright, in the fight for justice, we are at a 6 now. We only need one more in order to turn around and be in the Commoners Are Protected class. So, and who knows, maybe we can even get to level 10 and Commoner sees power, but it's gonna cost me quite a bit. So, yep, my diplomacy went up by 1. Again, fuck all. That didn't help me at all. All right, the year is 1141. Friend of the people. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Conditions met, justice greater than 4. Remy L. Vermin made a deal. And we will deal with this in the next episode. So, if you like the video, like the video. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe. I have plenty of things on my channel and I have plenty other things coming in the future. So yeah, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to address them. Whether it be a question or a comment, it does not matter at all. So, thank you for watching, and we will become a friend of the people in the next video. Thank you for watching. See ya.